All right, hello everybody. This is Steve Anderson with the Volleyball Canada Beach program, and I'm excited today. Today we're going to be looking at some film with some of our star athletes and our star performance analysts. So I want to introduce you to everyone, and then we want to get right into it. So we have our athletes here, Ivan Reka and Simon Fecteau-Boutin, and Josh Nichols, who's the man with all the stats. And as I said, my name is Steve Anderson. So before we get started, I just want to have you meet everyone. So guys, if you can just take a little time to just introduce yourselves and give a little bit about your journey. Yvonne, how about you?
Yeah, hello. My name is Ivan Reka. I'm from Montreal, Quebec. Started playing beach volleyball when I was around 15 in a little park called Parc Jeanne Mance in Montreal with some old school guys that were pretty good playing back then on the national tour in Canada. And parallelly, I was playing in high school and then played in Cégep, Limoilou in Quebec City for 4 years. And then I did a year in Sherbrooke University. So until I was like 21, I played both sports, indoor in the winter, beach in the summer, until I decided to come and try out the national team. And I think it was 2018. And so, yeah.
You had quite a journey, man, because you had to move from your home all the way to Toronto to even just try out for the national team. So you had quite a journey. Can you tell us something about that?
Yeah, definitely. So after I played my year in university, I decided to travel a little bit and try out a full year of beach volleyball. So I left for Australia, where I played their national tour for a year. And as I was playing there and competing, I was playing a lot of national level, like international level players, and I felt like I was actually competing and could actually pull my weight. So I was like, why not try out my own country and see how I can do on tour? And so um, I came to Toronto right away, straight from Australia, tried out on a national team, and then it took me about 2 years to get on the team, just to establish, a team, establish kind of a support system, uh, a way so that I can finance my travels and be like, okay, like next week we're just leaving for Nursika in Dominican Republic, and kind of put myself in that position. So it took quite a while, and I was able to also to have good relationships around, build a good support system, and get a good partner who was older than me and was able to kind of guide me through all those different obstacles that you can find in tough Toronto and the whole international tour. So it definitely was quite a journey, but I'm happy with what I've accomplished so far, and it's been fun.
Awesome, man. And last question for you: what would you recommend to someone who's a young guy who's trying to make the national team, uh, like you, has to move from Quebec or whatever to Toronto or whatever? What advice would you give to a young guy or a young person who wants to make a national team?
I think, especially for beach volleyball, the most important thing is to be adaptable. You never really know what's going to get thrown at you, and it's not like indoor where if you're good, you're selected and that's it. Like on the beach, you have so many other things to manage besides your physical condition and your game. You also have to manage your living situation. You have to manage your relationships around you. You have to you have to have a lot of people you can train with, have a good relationship with coaches, so you can really grow your game, not only on the court but also off the court. So I think it's just being very adaptable and be able to get everything inside like a sponge, retain everything, and kind of evolve that way, and just be open
Yeah,
to learning as much as possible. I think, yeah.
cool. Thanks, man. I have mad respect for your journey, man. You earned your way into the national team the hard way. Lots of perseverance and resilience. So yeah, lots of respect for that. And once we get back to competition, looking forward to seeing you play. So
Thank
yeah,
you. Appreciate it.
back. Mr. Boutin, Fecteau-Boutin. My French is not good, folks. It's not good. So
That
we're
was
gonna hear
good.
some French here. But Simone, you are what I consider to be our foundation for French players in the national team. Since I've been here, everyone looks to you. You're a vet, but your compassion and your willingness to help other people. Uh, you know, give us a little bit about your journey and yourself.
All right, so hello everyone. My name is Simon Fecteau-Boutin. I'm from Lévis, Quebec. I started volleyball when I was 15 from a small village. It was the only sport that had a varsity team, so I decided to join, and then went to Canada game in Regina in 2005, and moved to Cégep and University for indoor volleyball. At that point, one of my good friend, Fiji, asked me to play on the beach. So that's when I started and really enjoy and develop my passion for the game. Right after university, I remember I had my last exam on Friday, and on Sunday I had all my stuff packed and moved to Toronto. It was a great experience. It was tough to begin with. Like Yvonne said, when you move to a new city, different environment, you have a lot to learn. Since then, I've been competing with the national team, played in many international events. And in Toronto, I also started my career as a physical education teacher and got a lot going on. And yeah, like you said, I feel like I was one of the first one to move to Toronto. And since then, I feel it's my responsibility when players from Quebec come to Toronto to help them and give them information. I remember that Ivan called me back then when he wanted to have more information before he went to Australia and I wanted to move to Toronto. So that's something I really enjoy, and I'm glad to see that we had a few years without French-speaking athlete on the national team, but
Yeah.
since then it has changed a lot. So I'm glad to see that change happening.
Yeah, and diversity makes you better. So that's one of the reasons why I wanted to start this with you guys, because what you represent is people, first of all, but the fact that there's not a lot of there wasn't a lot of French speaking people when I got here, and now there's a lot more, and there's a big rise of talent, French talent that's coming and being recognized and being part of the national team. And so when I think you have a part to play in that with your personal leadership.
Thank you.
You have a lot of humility. A lot of humility. You're a very nice man. You have a lot of humility, but you also have a very fierce competitive streak. And you block and defend. I've seen you in both roles, and you are a world-class player at both. So how do you balance your humility with that fierce competitiveness?
Good question. Uh, Really always want to be the best version of myself, but I don't need to put other people down, or I don't feel like I'm always competing with others on the court. Yes, but I don't feel like I'm trying to beat other people. I'm trying to be the best version of myself, and that's how I'm gonna develop and get better. And in practice, if I can help someone who's going to be my opponent in the next tournament, it doesn't really matter to me. If we all get better, then we all improve, and we're all going to get the best version of ourselves.
That's awesome, man. You got to be around champions to be a champion, and I think you're a prime example of that, man. So appreciate you doing this, and let's move on, Mr. Nichols, Josh Nichols. Now you are a man of few words, but when you speak, we better listen. And Josh, you worked your way into this position as the performance analysis expert with Volleyball Canada. You started off as a coach with us, and you had a big background in administration, all sorts of stuff, and literally kind of created this position for yourself. And now you're creating amazing value through statistics and analysis, video analysis, and for all the athletes. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. I think I got into beach volleyball in a big way working for Ontario Volleyball, running the beach tour for 7 years there, and got to meet Simone when he first moved to Toronto and a bunch of other great athletes over the years. And like you said, with my role here with Volleyball Canada, really a support role where I provide scouting, stats, do some gap analysis, figure out some key performance indicators for athletes, and just try to go kind of an evidence-based thing to support them in training. So definitely excited to be a part of this and work with our modest, they didn't even mention this, national champions from last year. So good chance to talk some volleyball and learn from these guys.
And I didn't introduce myself, I just realized. So Steve Anderson, I've been in Canada for, it'll be 8 years in January. Came here to be the head coach for the national program in 2013, did that for 7 years, and now working with the men's development program. And, a big history with volleyball. I'm from Kentucky originally. It's been 17 years in Australia, went to 4 Olympics with them, won a gold and a bronze medal in 96 and 2000, and had a lot of really great opportunities and experiences here in Canada. So now, we live in Canada. My son sings the Canadian anthem. So, that's where we are. And we want to use this opportunity to share some of the inside look, not just the plays, but behind the people that make the plays. So we're going to get into the first situation, and we're going to have our experts here talk us through what they do to create their winning. So let's get to the first video.
Alors, on va passer à la partie en français de l'introduction parce que moi, j'ai des questions pour Yvonne. Est-ce que tu pourrais me parler un peu de l'importance et l'influence que l'équipe du Québec de volleyball de plage a eu sur toi et comment ça t'a amené vers l'équipe nationale?
Oui, définitivement. Je pense que l'équipe du Québec en tant que telle, au courant des 6-7 dernières années, parce que ça fait à peu près, ça fait à peu près 11 ans que je participe avec l'équipe du Québec. Ça a énormément évolué lors de ces 11 dernières années-là. Je pense qu'au départ, c'était un programme qui était quand même assez neuf. Dans le fond, il débutait. Puis, autant qu'il était neuf, ça nous donnait l'opportunité justement d'avoir une certaine structure organisée pour le volleyball de plage. Alors que j'ai l'impression que pour un bon temps, les gens faisaient juste jouer au volleyball de plage, mais il n'y avait pas vraiment de session d'entraînement. Puis, au fur et à mesure que ça s'est développé, on a vu la participation éventuelle de Vincent Larrivé et de Annie Martin, qu'eux ont vraiment pu établir une structure qui était adaptée au mode de vie international, où est-ce qu'on voyait vraiment des entraînements, des camps d'entraînement avec 2 entraînements par jour, avec une planification de préparation physique et en plus de ça, une opportunité de éventuellement se joindre à l'équipe nationale. Donc, je pense qu'on voit vraiment du beau travail de la part de notre fédération provinciale, surtout de notre côté en volleyball de plage. Je pense que c'est ce qui contribue au développement de plusieurs joueurs sur l'équipe nationale québécoise. Je pense, ouais. Mon tour à te poser une question, mon partner. Comment est-ce qu'on se sent à gagner 2 championnats canadiens, mais pas seulement gagner 2 championnats canadiens, mais les 2 fois le gagner avec des partenaires différents, mais que les 2 parlent en français et qui sont québécois?
Très bonne question. Écoute, j'ai eu la chance de jouer autant avec Hugo Rosso que Ivan Reka. Puis il n'y a pas de doute que dans les dernières années, si je ne me trompe pas, dans les 3-4 dernières années, je ne pense pas qu'il y ait une finale d'un tournoi au Québec qui s'est déroulée sans un de nous 3. Oui, je veux dire, c'est un honneur de pouvoir représenter le Québec et gagner des championnats canadiens, mais le faire avec 2 partenaires qui ont des styles de jeu, des personnalités différentes, c'est certain là, que c'est unique. J'ai beaucoup appris avec Hugo, puis j'apprends beaucoup présentement avec toi aussi sur comment développer notre style de jeu, etc. Mais non, c'est des moments qui sont extrêmement forts et qui me rendent fier là, de représenter ma province.
All righty, so let's start off. We're going to start off with the serve and defense. All right, so Josh, take us away.
Yeah, we pulled a few clips from Nationals and then this one from Vancouver Open, which I think is the best event in Canada. So good to showcase not only you guys did well there, but to showcase the backdrop here. So just a couple clips of you guys playing defense. So we'll start it off and you guys can talk us through it.
Yeah, so we can see that here we had a seam serve and the pass was in trouble, so he didn't have as much of an angle on the hit. So good thing is Sim peeled because knowing that the left sider was in a bit of a trouble, but also as a defender, I know that he doesn't have that sharp angle anymore. I can kind of stay closer to that seam deep and get an easier dig.
Yeah, that was really, that was subtle, but that was really significant. You didn't go down. I saw you had a line block, but you didn't go down into the angle. You really held your position the true angles that he had instead of like going to a spot. That was,
Yeah, I
so
think
your
Ivan
read on
really,
that.
yeah, Ivan really read the play well. He, instead of going all the way into the seam, he looked at the approach of the left side to make sure he was right in his angle. Great, great defense.
Yeah,
Awesome.
and just one more point I want to showcase, just the serve here. So you can see you get the left sider on the ground and the pass is hanging around. It actually goes to his partner's side, which means he has to hit out of that middle zone. So just like Yvonne's point there, different angles in the middle, right? So you can almost start to take away the sharp shot, like Ivan said, and start to limit little things. So I think the serve really set up the play well, and then you guys just kind of read it out from there and executed a nice dig to kill here.
Yeah, that's awesome. We talk about building an environment where your opponents cooperate with you, and that serve really did that. You really set them up so that they didn't have many options, and they really played into your strategy there. Simone, for you, the pulling off of that play, how do you what systems do you use to be able to make your decisions whether you're going to block or stay? Because if you block, maybe Yvonne has more court to cover. That was a great play by you.
Well, as a blocker, you need to decide if you're going to give your team the best opportunity to score if you stay at the net or if you pull. If you see that the hitter does not have the possibility to hit hard or to hit really sharp, then you have to consider pulling on that play with the serve bringing the hitter down, and then the sets being a little bit off. It's tough to see on the camera with a late pull to make him doubt. So I want him to think that I would still be at the net before I pull. And then it also gave Yvonne the opportunity to cover more the middle. So that's what I based my decision on.
That's the timing, man, was excellent. Like you said, he couldn't see you. And as far as he knew, you were still at the net. And, you know, he's a great hitter. So he wants to hit the ball hard, but because he thinks he's in trouble and he thinks you're at the net, he does more of an off-speed play. And the angles, when you pull back, Josh, can you just let it run a little bit more? Right there, you can see you're starting to take his angles away. And by the time he hits it, he doesn't have many spots on the court to get to. So that's really good team coordination and you guys taking the court away. Yeah, that looks good.
So another play here from Vancouver Open. Again, we're going to serve into the seam, and then let's just play this out and see where you guys are drawing your attention once everything starts to happen.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Man, tell us what happened there, because it's another middle serve, and that's really
I think we kind of like serving that really physical left side who loves that really sharp angle hard. Like we play Dan Deering, who's probably one of the most athletic guys in the country, I would say. And then we have some other clips showing Christoph, who's also a pretty physical guy and likes to hit that sharp angle. And having that middle serve, a good aggressive middle serve, is going to be very hard to have the left side to come back on an outside approach to get that angle. So that way we can really have Sim kind of close out that, kind of funnel it and making sure that he doesn't hit that really dangerous angle, if that makes sense.
yeah, that's really awesome. Sim, what about you from your perspective being the blocker?
Well, it all started with the serve. Great serve down the middle that create that confusion. And then you see the hitter hesitate a little bit before he gets into his approach. The ball comes a little bit from behind. That makes my job way easier since I know the hitter cannot really see me. I go down low, make sure I face his shoulder, and then press at the right moment.
In all fairness, also the set was really tight, so Sim could just kind of take all the ball, like the whole ball, and take all zones here.
Well, I think credit to Simone for staying this. I know it's obviously two-time Olympian setting this fall, but I think at a youth level, if you see somebody backstepping towards the sideline and they're 2 or 3 meters off the net, somebody might peel now. Where you had the patience to lay it out and you know that Vince Stockton put him on. I think that this is maybe a play that a lesser athlete would peel, but I think your attention to detail allows you to stay at the net and take away a good lane here.
I think at any level, even for younger athlete, never peel before the set. you can get into a position when you're ready to peel because you feel like it might happen in the play, but never peel before the set, because if the setter does a really good job and put the ball on top of the net, then you have no chance of getting the point.
Also, as a hitter, if I know that there's a very, very early peel, all the information is here. I know there's no blockers. I can be aggressive, right? And on the other side, even if you peel, but you do that peel after the set, there's still a certain doubt in my head. I might just shoot it in your hands, right? Like I think that there's a block, but there's no block, and then it's an easy dig. So really, really being disciplined and staying and waiting for the set as a blocker, I think is very important.
Yeah, this is the discipline and positioning, the coordination you guys are showing here on these last two plays is really impressive. So, again, it starts with that great serve, setting them up, taking away the angles that you want them, to have taken away, and then really coordinating your defense, picking the right play, getting the right timing and positioning, and making the play work. Josh, from your perspective with stats and this sort of thing, is there anything that sticks out to you compared to like World Tour sort of performance where people get most of their kills, or any sort of stat that sticks out to you watching these last two plays?
Well, I think these guys have touched on it, and just to build on their point, like I think beach is a very reactive game where, not to slight indoor, but I think indoor players are very stuck in their tendencies, and you can kind of know that you're hitting against 2 or 3 blockers every time. So they have some real tendencies where beach players tend to react to what's given to them. So when these guys are playing defense, I almost treat it like a game of whack-a-mole. And if you think like there's 9 options, whack-a-mole is pretty hard. If you can limit it down to 2 or 3 things, it gets easier. And I think the combination of what these guys have done, so they served it in the seam. So right away, we know that Dan's not going to run out by the stick. So we know that sharp angle attack's gone. So we can eliminate that from what our toolkit is. And then just the way that Simone stays at the net and respects his call here, it just clears up like a clear responsibility here. So even though a player might have tendencies, if, like Ivan's point said, if he peels early, well, now there's different options and different plays set up. So I think what they did is they identified what's the primary thing we want to take away, and they did that with their serve. And then what are the secondary and third options they can do? So I think that they're playing against a top-tier team, in my opinion, but they limited what they could do and then got a good stop here, a well-earned tough play against a top team in Canada here.
Yeah, that's awesome. Sam, just the last thing for you, man. Your positioning on this block is pretty exceptional. The like you said, Dan's one of the most athletic, not just in Canada. He's an athletic dude on the World Tour. His crazy angles, big jump, and your positioning. Looking from behind, it looks like you've taken all of his options. You're not overplaying the ball. You're right in the middle of his angles where he can't go cross, he can't go line. Look at that positioning on it, man. It's both hands covering the ball. That's really good positioning. What are you doing to determine how you position on a player?
It's as a blocker, you wanna cut the option of the hitter. Sometimes if you overdo it on one side or the other, then you're not as efficient as you should be. On a play, if you can have your outside hand covering the ball, and then you can use that inside hand to take more of the angle, then you're really efficient. But again, if you're too far from the ball from one side or the other, then you might give the hitter the option to hit down the line or have more angle. So it's really on getting that outside hand on the ball, right on the ball.
Man, that's a serious pro tip you just gave people, man, because wiper where both hands are chasing the ball, or they jump up and the hitter is like, they're not even in front of the hitter, they're just trying to take a zone. So just getting in position, that positioning and timing that you did, took a person who's a really good hitter and really gave him no options. That's a pretty outstanding play.